system, again, I was plodding along until about 8 years ago. I met a woman who changed my life, and I don't think that was necessarily her intention. She just did through osmosis. It all just happened. And as Alara mentioned, she passed away a year ago, September 1st, and she's still doing it from where she is. I always would say about the teachings that and again, it was not, I know she was living consciously, but I had not yet begun, when I first met her, to understand it. And I remember standing in the room when I first saw her. And when I look back on the chain of events that happened to bring me to that moment, I know now that there are no coincidences. I know now that everything that we're doing in every single moment is meant for us. It's not happening to us. It's happening for us to learn from, even the ones that don't feel so good. So I'm sitting there at this desk, and out comes this 5'3" woman with hair down to her, past her knees. And I was like, oh, I need to know more about that. And what I learned in the time that it was 8 years of knowing her, was that when we are drawn to something or someone, we're actually being pulled to a frequency. That pull could not have been stronger. And my first thought was, like I'd mentioned, I need to know more. I could not, I check the time and make sure I'm paying attention to it. I couldn't have had a stronger feeling, a desire to be more connected with who she was. And I didn't realize that what I was manifesting was a relationship that would show me all about frequency, all about energy. But it was a manifestation with that first thought of wanting more. And as I sit here and I'm listening to everything that's being said and the conversations that I've had as I come in the door and all of that, my heart is saying yes, yes, yes. Like constantly listening to Anthony's music, yes. And the more I follow that yes, that passion, that zeal, that excitement, the more I'm shown exactly where I need to be in order to help myself and therefore help others. So Martha was an energy worker. She did everything from body talk to electroacupuncture to craniosacral therapy, Reiki, all those different things. And I watched every day as she had new clients come in through her sessions, and they'd come out while I was sitting there at the desk, and they'd have this moment as they'd walk out of just awe. What was that? Right? How on earth could she have known the things she knew? She knew about it doesn't matter what it was. She connected to me to everybody was different. But the running theme through it all was that there's no mistaking where we are. There's no mistaking our experiences for learning. And everyone that has come into our life, whether here now or not, or on a different plane, dimension, is here for us again. So I went running energetically to her. And for those 8 years, I paid a lot of attention because everything that am I not loud enough? Can you hear me okay? Okay. But everything that I was going towards, my being was just saying yes. There's a physicist, and her name is Dr. Teresa Bullard, and she talks about how when we're drawn to something, we're actually being pulled to the frequency. So and it's very simple, I think we overthink it in general, whether it's a visual appeal, so we just love how it looks, or whether it's a feeling that we get. Sometimes people get finger tingles and toe tingles, or emotionally, or a spiritual ping. If we listen to that, we're being shown something that is opening another door, and another door, and another door. So I did that, and it was not initially conscious. I just thought, oh, there's joy there. Let's go that way, right? And Martha was one of the most incredible, joyful people I've ever met. I've never laughed so hard. I've never had such an amazing moment, like laughing to the tears coming, and the cheeks are hurting, and you're, and the stomach, right? She showed me that. I think people that live longer generally are much, much happier because of they're sitting in a higher vibration. When you think of vibration on a scale, and I'm going to use David R. Hawkins as the example, he has something called the Hawkins scale. And if we look at it as an upward sort of scale, from the base of that scale, we have those low-level frequencies of shame, that's our lowest, guilt, anger, pride, moving up into courage. As we go up into acceptance and love is that 500 hertz. DNA transformation, 528 hertz. So while we're up there, and we can get even higher up there, we're going into enlightenment, right? And we can't always stay in these beautiful love or above frequencies, but we wouldn't appreciate those if we didn't have the lower ones, right? So that's why I say that when I was gifted with that belief system, the appreciation that I have for where I am now, the yes that constantly comes from me, is because I know what that felt like. And I stay there quite often in that. Lately especially, holy cow. It's just amazing. So Martha brought in, she had a friend who was from Singapore, light language speaker, energy worker. I've had a session with him and I cannot believe the difference in how I felt after that session, the releasing I was having after just listening to him play the bowls and use his voice was just incredible. So she brought them in, started off with, a set of 3, and then she realized what they do. It became a set of 10 that she didn't tell her husband about. And we laughed about it a lot because she was like, I didn't know what I was starting. Well, she knew. I'm sure she knew. We started using them quite regularly, and I would have experiences, releases that I couldn't explain, unfathomable, unfamiliar, and involuntary releases. And what I realized was when I was using these bowls and experiencing them, essentially what happens is every fiber of our being, everything that we are experiencing, every single thing, the floor I'm standing on, the table I have here, of course the bowls, the mic, everything has frequency. And when we start to recognize that, it can change your life. If you know about a gentleman by the name of Dr. Masaru Emoto, I think I'm preaching to the choir here, honestly. But the fact that he was able to show us time and time again that when we use a higher, pure, positive vibration, we actually are shifting ourselves at a cellular level. So when he would take those 2 jars of water and he would put love on one and the opposite of love, apathy, on the other, it's not what we think it is, When he froze that water, he could show us that the positive word, the positive influence of that word, because it has a beautiful high frequency, created these beautiful crystalline structures, like snowflakes. And when he showed us what a negative would do, they wouldn't crystallize. They couldn't crystallize. So, knowing that, I guess it's how I live my life. And the very first time I bought a bowl, we call her Elby. She's a laughing Buddha, and she's meant to raise the joy vibration. That's her purpose. When I brought her home, I was not prepared for the shifting that would happen. The connection I have with my partner that I've known for over 25 years has been I mean, we've always had a lovely connection. It's always been beautiful. And I knew the moment I met him, I want to go there, right? Just like with Martha. It changed us. It changed us in ways I could never fully comprehend. Even sometimes, I don't know if I do. He's the most amazing human being. And his willingness to grow and learn and help me grow and learn as a partner is just, it brings tears to my eyes. But this connection got even deeper when this bowl came home. It changed me. And I said at the time, I want more of that. And I remember going on to, it was a website, Notes from the Universe, Mike Dooley. And I know nothing is random. I know nothing is coincidence. But I showed up on that website and I signed up for Notes from the Universe, thinking, I want encouragement. And I don't remember writing that this is what I wanted, but I did. I want a set of alchemy crystal singing bowls so that I can help raise the vibration of everything that and what I learned was it didn't matter if I was right there or if it was an hour away or if it was a whole world away. I can have that influence. And I've had an experience that was just incredible. That was a distance session, all through frequency. So Emoto showed me that, and we started keeping LB on the kitchen table. And we would play her before we ate our food and drank our water, just like prayer, to raise the vibration of everything we ingested, water, any beverages, food, so that when it came to us, we don't know necessarily where or who had been handling it, where it had been, but then when it got to us, we could shift that. And then when we took that in, we were ingesting a higher vibration, right? So, but back to that scale, if we can, again, we're going to come down sometimes. We're going to have those emotional states that actually impact us that don't feel good. But what I often do, and what I didn't realize was happening, as I'd have conversations with people, and I'd get to talking about the bowls. If I was in a low state, even crying, and not that there's anything wrong with crying, it just means that I was sad. I was in a grief state, or I was, whatever the case may be, right? Angry, frustrated. But if I started talking about these bowls, one day somebody said to me, "Did you see what just happened?" While I was talking about the bowls, and suddenly I went, I was like this before, and I went, whoa, like I don't even have to be in their presence to experience what they do, how they raise vibration. And I'm not here to sell them. I'm here to say that my life has changed because my vibration has shifted. My understanding of vibration has shifted. Martha did that. I was ready for it. Because we're not always ready for those lessons that are coming to us. This I was ready for. And as I started to play them more and more, I would have experiences and shifts that what's brought me to this moment, that have changed me. And Claude actually came to our house some time back, and we had 2 hours. We listened to his talk about frequency. And all through while as Claude is talking, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Because the more we connect with that and understand that, the more we can make differences in our lives. I heard somebody say recently, well, I hear it all the time when someone is talking about whatever kind of experience, and they'll say, well, it's kind of a negative statement. Well, I really hope that this will turn out. What I want to shift that to for people is an understanding of trust that it will. When we go in that direction with our beliefs, when we open ourselves up to the ability to shift our frequencies, trust that it will happen. Because when you're following that bliss, that joy, it was up there earlier, you're brought to what you are meant to be in. And this is proof positive for me. So These bowls are made from the purest quartz crystal in the world. They're 99.99% pure. And then they're infused with different elements. Everything from gold, diamond, ruby, and emerald to things like morganite and rose quartz and iron even. No two bowls will ever be the same. And essentially what they do is they put this high, pure, positive vibration into our body. You don't have to be awake. You don't have to be conscious. All you need to do is listen. Though when I'd mentioned before, I'd done a session, somebody had requested that I play the bowls for them while they were in a meeting. They were about an hour away from me, and this was my first experience. I want to say it was about 7 years ago. I got a phone call, and she said, I'm going to go into a meeting that I've had a lot of conflict in consistently with this person. I want it to be better. I'm not sure how. I said, okay. I will play the bowls. Our meeting started at 9 o'clock. So I started at 9:45. And when I started playing, I played with the intention to have clarity, connection, humor, love, all the things that were going to make this meeting good for her and for the people that she was meeting with. I had trust that it was going to be good. I played until 15:15, and her meeting ended. Well, I didn't know actually when it ended, but I played until 15:15. So half an hour straight with all these beautiful intentions going into these bowls. And then I didn't hear from her for 5 days. And I thought, oh, I hope it went okay. This was, again, my first experience. So she called me 5 days later, and she said, I have never had a meeting like this with this woman that I connected with. We laughed. We talked about things we've never talked about. We connected in a way that we've never connected. And I left there 2 hours later than I was intending to leave. And I went, whoa. Because when you know that you're having that kind of an impact and you don't even have to be present to make that happen, that's powerful. I do these sound sessions on a regular basis. I have people that connect with me regularly to experience this, because when you put an intention into these bowls, the way that it works, backtrack a moment, when they're using quartz crystal and technology, so thinking computers and timepieces and lasers, when they're doing that, they're actually doing it because quartz crystal is a very highly stable medium. So as we take this in, the purity and the stability of this, every fiber of our being is shifting at an energetic, a frequency level. Because anything that exists, and again, this is pure physics, anything that exists in our body at a less stable frequency has to rise to meet this or fall away. It can't remain. So when we take this in, Martha used to always say, you are not the same person when you come in this door as when you leave, because your vibration has shifted. That's what these are about. Shifting vibration, raising it up, and creating movement so that those lower level vibrations that aren't serving our highest good are released. And when that happens, I had a moment after spending the day doing this I was in Lake Louise, and Fairmont was doing a wellness week for their staff. And all day we were talking with people, and there was this reciprocated passion and joy and excitement. And when I got home, I sat down on the bed to tell my partner about this incredible day that I'd had. And I had an energetic release happening. I had tears come to my eyes. And I kept talking. And suddenly, my head lulled back. And the only way I can describe it is from my root chakra, all the way and up and out my throat was a straight line. My head was all the way back. And I thought, well, this is interesting. Because it was not an intentional motion. And I thought, okay, well, let's see where this goes. And as I'm still talking about this amazing day of reciprocated joy and passion and excitement, I took a breath in. Now, everybody's energetic shift is going to look different because all the layers that make you who you are from this, well, depending on your belief system, from the lives you've lived or from the moment you were in utero, makes you unique. You could be a twin, as I mentioned, Bob. You could be a twin. You could be a mirrored twin, and your experiences will always be unique. So here I was, releasing. And as that breath came into my body, I went to myself. I'm like, this is really interesting because I'm not pulling, yes, I'm breathing naturally. But when it pushed out of me, it pushed out so hard that the breath right to the bottom of my lungs was emptied out. And I took a breath in. And when I did that next breath in, from my heart chakra up, I felt clean and clear. From here down, thick and heavy. And I, in that moment, recognized it. And I sat there going, but my head stayed in the same place. Took another breath in. From my solar plexus up, clean and clear. As soon as it was out and emptied, I took that next breath in, clean and clear, thick and heavy. Tangible feeling, difference between these two areas of my body. And it went all the way down to my sacral and then to my root. And when I finished, I'm like, I'm going to wait for my head to do what it's going to do because I want to see what this looks like. I actually was surprised. Eventually, my head just naturally lulled back up. And I looked at my partner, and he looked at me, and we both went again, whoa, what was that? I mean, I knew what it was, but to experience it was a whole other level of incredible. So that's what these do. They raise our vibration. And when that starts to happen, your life changes. And you can do that naturally by sitting in a place of remembering a joyful moment, because that raises your vibration. Always, you have an option. Even when we're feeling not so great, you can go back to a memory, you can go back to a thought, you can go back to an experience and bring yourself up out of that. It's possible, it's doable. I've done it, and I know from experience. I think I'm going over my talk time. So we're going to do a meditation. And this meditation, if you can put your feet square on the ground, palms up on your knees. Taking in 3 deep breaths, that first breath that you take in all the way to the bottom of your lungs. Breathe in deeply and hold it at the peak. Relaxing your shoulders. This is your physical. And when you release it with an audible sigh, good. Now take another deep breath in all the way, releasing any thoughts you have. Holding at the peak and releasing. when you're ready. Good. And a third breath deeply into your lungs, all the way to the bottom. Holding at that peak. And connecting to spirit. And releasing when you're ready. And taking a moment here to hold an intention for yourself. Or for somebody else. And when you're ready to release that intention out onto the sphere of sound, go ahead. Allowing your body to feel grounded. Connecting with Mother Earth. Allowing all of the energy centers in your body, starting at the root and moving all the way up to your crown, be ignited with fresh oxygen. Imagine them becoming brighter with every breath. As you move up from the root to the sacral chakra, to the solar plexus, to the heart, we give gratitude for everything that it does for us. Then moving up to the throat. The third eye. The crown. Connecting with the universe. Connecting us all together. And you can do this anytime. And take a moment for yourself. Through all the chakras. And recognizing the feeling within yourself. Flow towards that thing that tells you yes all the time. Your passion, your joy, your zeal will bring you to exactly where you're meant to be. And just follow it. And coming back when you're ready. And take a deep breath in. Holding it at the top and releasing. I want to thank you. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for being here.